On Monday, President Joe Biden approved of a massive oil drilling project on federal land in Alaska, leading to, of course, a lot of outrage by environmental groups and people who actually care about, having a livable environment. Now, environmental groups are saying ConocoPhillips' $8 billion Willow project, which could produce about more than 600 million barrels of crude oil over the next 30 years, would add about 280 million metric tons of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere at a time, of course, where we shouldn't be adding that much, or much at all, or any, honestly. So I have some statements here from progressive groups. Food and Water Watch Executive Director Winona Hodder said in a statement, "There's simply no justification for President Biden's decision to approve a massive new oil drilling scheme that will lead to decades of air and climate pollution. This decision is part of a disturbing and disappointing trend with this White House." Is it really all that unexpected, though? Honestly? And I'll get to why I say that, but she says, President Biden refuses to take the necessary actions to rein in climate catastrophe while issuing rhetoric that professes concern for the existential threat that we all face. He cannot have it both ways. Promoting clean energy development is meaningless if we continue to allow corporations to plunder and pollute as they wish. Well, look, understand that having it both ways is a classic political move that a lot of Democrats engage in. Again, let's be honest. As he does this, Biden announced restrictions on offshore oil leases in the Arctic and across Alaska's North Slope, while the U.S. Department of the Interior said it would issue new rules to block oil and gas leasing in more than 13 million of the 23 million acres that form the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska, where the Willow Project is located. So ConocoPhillips, though, I guess apparently you could say they're getting special treatment for some reason. When really, we shouldn't be authorizing any more drilling projects. We should really be focusing all of our time and energy to try to transition away from fossil fuels. In fact, the International Energy Agency, which is actually pretty conservative in their assessments, warned that new fossil fuel projects are incompatible with averting the worst consequences of climate change. And so, there's a lot of warnings out there from scientists, and yet we have a president who's a Democrat who says, "Hey, look, we really want to, do something about the existential, thing of climate change. Here's more oil." Look, that's leading to a lot of outrage, understandably so. Kristen Monsell, senior attorney at the Center for Biological Diversity, said this in a statement, quote, "It's insulting that Biden thinks that this will change our minds about the Willow Project. Protecting one area of the Arctic so you can destroy another doesn't make sense, and it won't help the people and wildlife who will be upended by the Willow Project. We need to protect the entire Arctic and stop building massive oil and gas developments that will contribute to greenhouse gas emissions for years to come. Biden approved Willow knowing full well that it will cause massive and irreversible destruction, which is appalling." Yeah, look, of course, we're not dealing with idiot Republicans who don't believe in climate change. Joe Biden is well aware of the impact that this is going to have on the climate. But he's going ahead with it anyway. It's disastrous. Now, Monsell continues by saying people and wildlife will suffer, and extracting and burning more fossil fuel will warm the climate even faster. Biden has no excuse for letting this project go forward in any form. New Arctic drilling makes no sense. And then they went on, of course, to say that we're going to challenge this in court, saying that we're gearing up for action and fighting hard to keep ConocoPhillips from breaking ground. Also said that the president has left us in the cold. It's a little bit of a pun there that I appreciate, and missed major opportunity to live up to his climate commitments. Earth Justice President Abigail Dillon echoed the statement, saying to the Times that the Biden administration's tinker at the margins won't remedy legal failures to address this project's outside harms, and we expect to see them in court. and I hope that they're successful. Look, here's the thing that we obviously expected from the Biden administration. Nothing will fundamentally change. Now, look, what Democrats are good at is tinkering around the margins. Okay? And by the way, some good can come from that. And I don't dismiss that. Of course, there's good things that come around from, giving a tweak here, a little bit more healthcare there, capping the price of insulin. Great. But if all you're doing is attacking the margins and not actually going after the systemic issues, the big systemic issues, for example, in the healthcare example, not allowing Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices, not pushing for that, not fighting for universal healthcare, which is popular with the vast majority of American people. What you're doing, again, is you're still allowing the problems of the pharmaceutical industry and the insurance industry to put profits over people's lives. So that's an issue, right? That's my problem with the incrementalism of the Democratic Party. Again, I'm not saying that they don't have some good results when they do actually do something, and I applaud them for it. But there's so much more that can be done. But getting back to Biden's promise to donors before his election, nothing will fundamentally change. And this is an example of that. Nothing has fundamentally changed. There is still massive new oil and gas drilling projects all across the country that are contributing to massive climate change. We've already got a rough enough future ahead of us. Even if we do manage to have some drastic action, which we are not going in the direction of. So it looks like the most likely scenario is keep hitting around that, hitting around those edges and not really addressing the radical change that we need to do. Well, we continue in that direction, it's going to be far worse than it needs to be. And that's, again, because politicians are too afraid to take on the massive oil and gas lobbies.